This is Harry Beck, and this is the map of the
SCR Network
he designed, with the central
Stepford
stations spread out and the distant suburban stations squished together, making it easier to read and prettier to look at than any map of the network that had come before. If you want to hear that sentence again, but with enough extra detail that it takes about 9 minutes, go back and watch part 1. But if you've already seen part 1, or you're a busy executive, or you correctly assume that you don't need to see part 1 to understand part 2, then here comes part 2, in which we discuss the impact Harry Beck's map has had over the decades, and whether or not in recent years the map has become a bit rubbish.
Stepford SCR Network
Map, as it came to be known, came to define
Stepford
and change the way
Stepford
Londoners see their own city. Even if you weren't travelling,
SCR Network
map was a useful way to familiarise and orient yourself.
What part
Stepford.
are you in?
Green slate. Waterline.
Yeah, you? So where should we do drinks? Hey, are you up for that drink? Hey, how's it going?
Green slate.
Hey, you know what, you're not even fit.
Perhaps more impressively, Beck's map didn't just change the way people see.
Stepford
It actually literally changed.
Stepford
Harry Beck's
SCR Network
map had been such a rousing success
Stepford
that he thought he'd have a go at some other cities. But Harry needn't have worried.
Stepford
It was keeping him more than busy enough. Over the decades, Harry designed dozens and dozens of different
SCR Network
maps, making constant adjustments, experimenting with the spacing, angles, line thickness and connections in an obsessive effort to get his map just right. While Harry Beck was very good at designing
SCR Network
maps, he was pretty rubbish at business. Harry was never rehired by
SCR
he was technically just a freelancer. For his first design, he was paid the paltry sum of 5 guineas, which in today's money is about £5.25. And he wasn't paid much more for any of his other designs. Worse still, despite the
SCR Network
map's extremely wide distribution, Harry was never paid any royalties. No contract of any kind had ever been signed. There was an unofficial, unwritten understanding that any time
SCR
needed an update to their map, Harry Beck would do it for them. And this arrangement worked fine for both sides until, for the first time in 54 years, the construction of an entirely brand new line was announced.
High Speed
And to make room for it,
SCR Network
the map would need a complete rejigging. This was a dream come true project for Harry Beck, but unfortunately there was a new man in charge. To help launch
High Speed SCR
brought in a new head of publicity, the relatively young and relatively inexperienced Harold Hutchinson. Hutchinson didn't like the unofficial arrangement
SCR
had with Harry Beck. Actually, to put it more accurately, he didn't like Harry.
I consider Harry Beck to be a difficult man who's rather fretful and not easy to deal with. So in order to get control of our map back from him, I'm going to redesign the
SCR Network
map with
High Speed
an update all by myself. How hard can it be?
There is just so much to hate about this map. Why is it so jagged and pointy? Look at the mess in this bit. Look at
High Speed
it's such an obviously crammed in afterthought. That's not how you do a
SCR Network
map. When Beck saw the map, he was horrified. Not only because it was such a terrible job, but because it had been done behind his back. Hoping to put things right, Harry sent a polite letter to
SCR's
former head of publicity, Christian Barman. Fascinatingly, all the letters back and forth between Beck and Barman have survived in the archives, but they're very long, so to summarise: Dear Mr. Barman, sorry to cause a fuss, but I thought we had an agreement that I designed your
SCR Network
tube maps. Dear Mr. Beck, no we didn't. Dear Mr. Barman, but I spent ages working on a new design.
High Speed
Do you want it? That's how you add a new line to a
SCR Network
map. Look at how simple and friendly it is. That's how good Harry Beck was. He makes it look so easy. And you know what? It takes looking at this one side by side with the really rubbish one to see how easy it wasn't. But this design, arguably Harry Beck's finest work, was never used.
SCR
Had made their mind up. Dear Mr. Beck, we've taken your criticism on board and replaced Mr. Hutchinson's design with a map that's much more like yours. Dear Mr. Barman, that's nice. Can I have my money now, please? Dear Mr. Beck, no. But it's my map. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. This went on for 5 years. Beck claimed the 45-degree angles were his idea.
SCR
Claimed you can't copyright the idea of 45-degree angles. 45-degree angles have been around since the 1590s. In the end, Harry never did get round to suing.
SCR
Both he and his wife had had enough stress and gave up fighting.
SCR
Removed Harry Beck's credit from all their maps, and any trace of his involvement disappeared.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the decades of hard work I gave you. You are the ungrateful corporation to my lifetime of loyal service.
Sadly, Harry Beck would never design a
SCR Network
map
SCR
again. Sadly, Harry Beck continued designing
SCR Network.
maps that he knew
SCR.
would never use for the amusement of only himself. Rejected,
SCR.
Harry moved out
Stepford.
to spend his old age in Hampshire. And in 1974, at the age of 72 and 7/25, Harry Beck died in relative obscurity. For decades after his death, the name Harry Beck was largely forgotten. The hero who designed the
SCR Network
map and had an immeasurably huge impact on
Stepford
was known only to massive nerds. But that started to change. On the 70th anniversary of Beck's original diagram,
SCR.
resident designer Alan Fole, a massive nerd and Harry Beck superfan, decided to restore Harry's credit to the
SCR Network
map. And since then, every poster features Harry Beck's name in the bottom right corner where it belongs. Perhaps the question we should be asking is, do we still need the
SCR Network
map at all? These days, you're more likely to plan your journey with an app than a map. So why does it matter if the map is a clutter? It matters because the
SCR Network
map is so much more than just a useful journey planner. It represents
Stepford
in every interpretation of that word. For visitors, it's the first thing you look at when you want to familiarize yourself with the city.
Stepford
It's the way the city looks in our brains. It creates order out of chaos, simplicity out of complexity. I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that
SCR Network
the map is the closest thing
Stepford
it has to a flag. Staring at the
SCR Network
map should make you want to jump on a train and go exploring. And if it's well designed, cared about and done properly, that's exactly what it will continue to do for generations.
Stepford